Hello everyone, this is Fireally, and welcome to another Scion Custom Races tournament match. Today it's Vermillion versus Quror on Nightshade LE. So, Vermillion's in the bottom right, Quror is in the top left, and both of them are playing Zyad. We've seen a lot of Quror playing Zyad, but this is the first time we're seeing someone different, and Vermillion is kind of a veteran of this scenario, so it's going to be pretty cool to see what these two players come up with. Now, Vermillion is starting a wall off with this feeding pool here. His loading screen is Terran, so maybe Vermillion normally plays Terran. And the feeding pool is right next to base for Quror as per the normal, and then boom, Zyad Den right next to it. And yep, same thing for Vermillion. You kind of want these things right next to each other, to be fair. Vermillion's already sending out a scouting scavenger right now. And overall, pretty mirrored setup. Same supply, relatively same income. Everything looks pretty normally normal. Oh, do we get a high five? We don't get a high five. They give each other the cold shoulder. As they just run past each other. Gas for Quror is already set up. His Zyad Den is almost ready. Second feeding pool is also coming up. The Zyad Den for Vermillion's coming up, but Vermillion is saving his resources instead of spending them, which is very interesting. We see another feeding pool coming up, and he's going straight into the second base rather than saturating the first one with a gas, which is very interesting. Quror's scavenger also makes it in, and he's going to see this relatively quickly here that Vermillion is deciding to get the drone, or the scavengers, my bad, out before doing anything else. We see a little bit of harass with the chompy chomps. He's running around. Ring around the rosy has begun. Zyadling comes in, and I'm pretty sure the scavenger is gone. And then Vermillion's drone has made its way back. And now Quror's also started his second base after that scouting mission. And it looks like these are coming out at about the same time. Now we see the gas is being taken, as well as the mutagen chamber is being built for Vermillion out here. So it seems like Vermillion might be pushing towards more of a mineral-based thing, which leads me to believe he's going to go with the more factory-style build out here, where he is going to be using what... I forgot what it's called already. Between days, I just forget all of my Scion Zyad information. But it's, I think, well, he's got the mutagen chamber. Alright, there we go. Is a Canalisk Den coming up right here. Now the Canalisk Den is just is just the upgrades. This isn't the one that makes the units. But he's also got all three feeding pools set up, which means faster production. However, we have two Zyad Dens and the third feeding pool coming up for Quror. So currently, Quror can actually make units faster than Vermillion. And Quror also seems to have the economical lead here, which is very interesting. Now, we do have this out front feeding pool and bile pit coming out for Vermillion. So Vermillion's playing this a lot more defensively than Quror, who's seemingly going a lot more aggressively. We see a scouting boy out here. He's going to be riggedy wrecked as soon as that happens. Oh, yeah, he's gone. No damage done. We also have a Mendling out who regenerates the health of the units nearby it. So it looks like in this XVX match, Quror is giving some respect to his opponent by that. And likewise with the feeding pool also being able to recover health of nearby units and buildings. It looks like a very interesting match. Offensive versus defensive is what I'm seeing right here. The Canalisk Den is currently upgrading the Zyadlings so that way they can do more damage against armored units, I do believe. That is the facial upgrade right there. I mean, look at it. It looks like a face. An Avian Nest is coming up right here on the side of Vermillion. Now, this is normally something we see out of Quror. I wonder if he's going to accidentally block his Zyad Den, though. You got to be careful of that. Alright, so we see the scouting coming in from those roamers of Quror right here. And overall, he can see that bile pit. And he's deciding to back off. and regroup. We see the third base is almost done right here for Vermillion. Vermillion's also almost fully saturated his main. It depends if these scavengers are going to go back to mineral mining or not. And then we see the next upgrade coming up here for our friends, the Zyadling, on the side of Vermillion. So he's trying to make sure that they have both their range and their armor upgrade, and their armored unit damage boost upgrade. So he wants to be using a lot of Zyadlings in this game for sure. Now we see that Quror is also taking his third base right now. We also see his our good friend the Prowler coming out, disabling guy right there. We got a little bit of harass going on from this little Zyadling right here. He's gonna take out this scavenger and prevent this third base for a little bit. If these guys over here don't get rerouted, which they are, which is good. We didn't see an all army hotkey either. That's also a good thing for the control here. Oh, the roamers, or not the roamers, the raptors are coming out, and they're going to be coming around, and this is not going to be good for Quror right here. He's going to get some harass going on. However, his Zyadlings are not as strong as Vermillion's at the current point, because as far as upgrades go, Quror has none. So we're seeing the harass come on. We see the Zyadlings are coming back to go deal with this harass. In fact, he's pulling all the boys. He's laid down a bunch of bombs to make sure that he's aware of any incoming attacks. And the raptors are chased away. Now, this probably means he's going to be building up a biomass. Oh, no, he's putting down biomass hatcheries. So there's your factory right there. In fact, he's going for 3 of them. He really wants to get some of those factory-like units out on the board here. The raptors are probably going to come back and harass this little base right here. And so far, it looks like even though Vermillion has played defensively at the start, with just these 2 raptors, he's able to get a lot of work done for the harass right here. Now, right now, we're seeing he is building another mutagen chamber and a biomass hatchery of his own, which means that we're going to see a lot of those ground units in this game right here. And it looks like he really wants to get his upgrades going as soon as possible. The raptors are just hanging around, and I'm pretty sure can Quror see them? We're seeing that he's making sure to scout right here, and he can see that one raptor. So he does know what's going on here. We're seeing an engagement. Vermillion has an exterminator right now, and he's only for air to air, but nonetheless, that's more defensive play. But also, it looks like we're seeing these Prowlers doing their work on the army of Vermillion. And we also see that these Exterminators, even though they're air-to-air, they have an air-to-ground ability. And I'm not exactly sure what it does because I have not really used them much myself. And there's that avian nest right there hanging out. So it looks like Quror is trying to get a supply block on his opponent right now, but Vermillion has made more feeding pools than necessary, which is playing in his favor right here. We're also seeing a lot of worker kills going out. The Prowlers are continuing their good work against our good friend Vermillion right here. Vermillion is floating 2,000 resources, distracted by the onslaught of Quror right now. His second base has been really hurt right now. But we also see that Vermillion's Revilers are coming out to deal with this. We also see that the ground upgrade is here, so it's just 1-0 for Vermillion right now as those upgrades are concerned. We see a lot more Zyad dens coming up in the production tab, as well as the armor upgrade, the armor piercing upgrade for the Zyadlings as well. So Quror is playing a little bit of catch-up right now with these upgrades, and Vermillion is starting his own upgrades as well into the 2-2 lane, the 2-1 lane. See a big engagement right here. Some explosions are going on from these exterminators. They lock onto a target and they explode, doing splash damage to the units around them. So they're kind of a versatile unit in that regard. So they can only attack air-to-air normally, but their ability still has a lot of good purposes behind it. We see some Scorpolisks right here, which are melee units that Zyad has. We haven't seen too many of them, but with so many Revilers, they're not going to get a whole lot accomplished right now. And there he goes. We also see that bombs are being laid down for Quror by his Prowler when it isn't going around and stunning the units, which is a good use of that unit. He does another stun, and the Revilers are going in and doing house cleaning on the side of Vermillion. Vermillion is still floating about 2,000 resources, desperately trying to make sure that these Revilers aren't getting their job done, as reinforcing Xiadlings are coming in from the side of Quror. However, he has yet to completely destroy the base, and Vermillion's base is oversaturated at the main, and in the second it's also oversaturated, but only on the mineral front. And currently, things are looking pretty good for Quror. It looks like he's waiting for that one upgrade right here to finish up, and he's also got the armor upgrade to back it up, but he only has a very short window before the armor upgrade comes in and neutralizes that small advantage he would have. And it's going to come up here in about, 3 seconds. Alright, so that Xiadling is taken advantage of, and now that the upgrade is finished, it's going to be a lot more difficult for this to be taken care of. He's doing some nice splits with that Reviler to make sure that it isn't blowing up the rest of his units, although I'll say that, and he pulls it in together with everything else. And there goes that Scavenger's Nest. So now Vermillion is only down on 2 base, while Quror himself is securing his 4th base in the top part of the map right now. You see that assailants have come out for that air-to-ground function right here, but they aren't doing so hot. Again, these Revilers are really doing good, and now that the Xiadlings have all of their upgrades, they are also quite formidable. So overall, with the upgrades, it looks like Vermillion still has more upgrades. However, it's not quite so lenient in his favor, and Vermillion calls GG, and that makes Quror the first victor in this 3-match series. Let's go to the next one. Alright, and we are back with the second game, where Quror is in the bottom left-hand side and Vermillion is in the top right-hand side. Now, last time, Quror was able to completely overwhelm Vermillion with his sheer amount of forces, and both of them going for the biomass hatchery build, with Vermillion taking a little bit of an avian push right here. Now, I'm curious to see how Vermillion will try to change things up in this match to ensure that he doesn't have a rush take him out once again. We see the same build as before, where Vermillion is putting the feeding pool right next to the entrance, where Quror is putting it right next to the main base. There's those 2 Xiadens almost instantaneously, or almost completely in sync. Now, this is an interesting thing, with the Xiaden being built all the way away from this feeding pool right here for Vermillion. Now, I wonder why he's choosing to do this. Aside from giving him vision of the ground right here, so he can attack. Because, units can do that too. So I'm curious, so I don't see any huge advantage to building them so far apart other than that vision. So I'm so curious. I want to know more. Alright, so we see the first scouting guy coming out for Quror right here instead of Vermillion, who had the first scouting out last time. The second base is going to be coming up here for Quror in just a few seconds, in about, I don't know, however long it takes for this thing to hatch. And there we go. Boom! So we started the groundwork for the second base, whereas Vermillion has also started it, but is just a second behind. The Xiadling has been put on a rally, so it does not go after the Scavenger, and so all the scouting information is going to be found before this Xiadling is able to kill the Scavenger. He sees, once again, the oversaturation before gas takeover from Vermillion. And we see a feeding pool coming out here for this Xiaden right here. I still don't know why Vermillion has decided to put his Xiaden so far apart. Because this one, they would both be working at the same speed if that feeding pool was right there. But instead, we're having a little bit of a slower build-up right here, although a broader array of buildings. I don't know why. Oh, now we see Quror is putting up a feeding pool of his own out front for some healing instead of Vermillion this time. So maybe he took a page out of Vermillion's book from that last game. You also see that the mutagen chambers come out. So are we going to see the biomass, or are we going to see the avian nest coming out from Quror? We're going biomass once again. He really does like having his prowlers out. Those prowlers have been phenomenal for Quror, so it makes sense why he would want to use them once more. Now, as far as Vermillion is concerned, Vermillion is just sending out as many Zidlings as he can right now, which is definitely an interesting way to go. So we see an engagement right here. It's definitely going to go in the favor of Vermillion because it's just bigger numbers right now. And we see more and more Zidlings are coming out. And so, right now, Quror is actually in a little bit of a icky-picky pickle right now, because he only has workers to defend himself with, and whenever these boys dash in, they do more damage, which means that they can pretty much single shot any of these scavengers. Now we see that the Prowler is coming out, and it'll have the Zidlings to back it up, so he could clean this up if it gets out fast enough. And we also see the Bile Pit is a huge help as well. He's trying to lure the forces of Vermillion in there. However, Vermillion just keeps sending more. And this time they're going... Oh no, he's still going straight into that Bile Pit rather than going the long way around. He's just going to soak up that damage, although I don't think it's going to do so good for him. The Prowler's trying to get in and neutralize the opponent right there. There we go. The Zidlings are trying to take him out, but running around the mineral patch is certainly a good work for Vermillion right here. We're seeing the Zidlings finally getting taken out, though, by Quror. However, he's lost a lot of mining time, and he also lays down some bombs with that Prowler to make sure that the Zidlings from Vermillion don't get through once again. So far, things are looking pretty good for Vermillion, and Vermillion knows it, and he's making more Ziodens to boot. Although this placing again, why are you placing them so far apart with only 2 feeding pools per a single one of them? It doesn't make sense to me. The Catalyst Den is coming up, so he probably just wants to upgrade those Zidlings as soon as possible and just keep going. He also has secured both towers, so unless an attack comes in from this side up here, it's going to be seen by Vermillion. No, the Prowler's just laying down more bombs, and Vermillion has to play catch-up because... Quror, my bad, has to play catch-up because he's lost quite a few workers. If we look at the workers killed, it's 17, which is quite a few, and no mining time was going on when that attack happened, so Quror is quite far behind right now. We see a Zidling is coming up, checking for the 3rd base of Quror right now, and he confirms it, which means Vermillion now knows that Quror has been taking a lot of damage, and he's making a bunch of these Scorpolisks to make sure that he can do some melee damage, because after all, Scorpolisks they have quite a bit more health than a Zidling does. They have 175, whereas Zidlings only have 85, which is almost 100 more, so they can definitely take a lot more hits. They're much tankier boys. Vermillion looks like he wants to get that 3rd base up, but he's going to have to wait for the mineral flow to get in there. So now Quror is forced to play defensively. So Vermillion can make the first transition here pretty comfortably without too much to worry about, especially because this Zidling is constantly letting him know that when Quror is going to expand, and so will this one. So Quror is in... Even though Quror does not know any of this is going on, Vermillion has complete knowledge of what he's up to, as far as expanding is concerned. So Vermillion is getting eyesight of this right here. So now he knows that Quror is on the move. And what is his strategy? He's also made himself some Canalisks, which is very interesting right here. Those one-eyed freaks hanging around with those big eyes in the mouth. They're kind of, I don't know, they are a sight to behold. Now, I really want to see some bowling balls. I really hope that this amount of Canalisks equals bowling balls, because I love bowling balls. It's my favorite team. Biomass hatchery coming up, so our good friend Vermillion is making sure that he's getting ready for those factory builds right here. See the engagement going down here. It is not going well for Quror. He's just massively outnumbered right here. He can stun all those Scorpilisks all he wants. He still doesn't have the numbers game here. We see very slowly the Canalisks are crawling up. I don't think they're ever going to catch up, though. Now, is he going to use them to neutralize the defenses of Quror right here? Or is he going to use them to bowling ball? Or is he going to use them to cloak? Those are the 3 uses of a Canalisk right there. So we're going to find out which one Vermillion has in store right here. He's also building a flying detector transport right here. You saw that a couple games ago. He's using it to neutralize that biomass pit. He also neutralizes his own units in the process, however, but it doesn't really matter because they weren't focused down by Quror at all. He does it again! And so those Scorpilisks are just ripped to pieces. And we also see a new unit that, for this series anyway, called the Spitter. They're very much like a siege tank with very long range, however, you can also see where their attacks will land before they get there. And because of this, they have a feature where you can tell them to fire just at the ground, which is very helpful if you have a invisible unit that's just hanging around. You can hit them even though you don't have detection if you can see the wibbly wobblies. But again, they'll be able to see that attack coming just because it has that big old "here I am," you know, ground target there. So, because of a little bit of poor use of the Canalisk right there, Vermillion lost his army. However, he's coming back in with a Farian, completely filled up with Xialings right now. We also see that a new set of Canalisks has come up right here, and so it looks like he might be trying to flank Quror from this side and this side, flying in over here and then using the units to come in through here. Or maybe he's just going to do some good old harass right now, taking that Farian into the main base. We see that the other biomass hatchery has been laid down. Here they are. They're ready to go shred some scavengers. There we go. We're seeing a lot of them go down. Actually, no, not really. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not as many as the first time. And see, here we have those spitters. And I don't know if you can walk into get damaged by your own spitters. I'm sure we'll see it here soon enough because it's pretty darn easy to walk into your own attack, as we have seen with the Canalisks right here using their neutralizing launchers. Now, we see that Vermillion is oversaturated this third base by quite a bit, but with no gas. Is Vermillion going to expand or take the gas? He's taking the gas, baby! Alright, so we also see 1 bile pit for the defense right here, but definitely Vermillion is the aggressive player right here, and even has 2 avian nests right here. Nothing being produced out of it quite yet, but he has it just in case. In fact, he's making another one? No, it's a mutagen chamber. Alright, we're all good. But he is making this sunken warren right here, which gives you the air unit upgrades. Or what is he making right here? Is he making... No, he's making the air-to-ground unit right there. I forgot their name, but they're coming up right now. Pretty interesting stuff. Looks like Vermillion is going to want to expand to that 4th base right there when he has a few APMs to spare. Alright, and so Quror is now making his move across the map, making sure that the eyesight is avoided. Alright, so these boys are all dead. All of them. Dead. All 3. Bye-bye. Alright, so Vermillion has found the APMs to go put down that scavenger's nest, despite the army encroaching pretty quickly. Although, we've got the assailants out right now, so that's good, except for the revilers are going to be able to focus down on them. The spitters can't shoot in the air, but they can still do some work. We see the roamers doing some scouting to see what he's up against, which he'll find out that there's a bile pit and a couple of feeding pools. And he also sees a bit of the army right here, so he knows that there's more Canalisks out there. Now, I'm curious to see if he's going to use the spitters to shoot at the high ground, because once they get vision, they can do that. In fact, you don't even need vision to shoot the high ground with a spitter if you use that control group. You won't be able to tell if you're hitting anything or not, but you can try it. Alright, so that 4th base is coming up pretty soon here, and we're also seeing that another one of these Farians is being made as well. And they come from the biomass hatchery. They don't come from the avian nest, by the way. The avian nest makes the spellcaster air detector, so that way you have a detector from from whichever choice you choose. Alright, so Vermillion knows that Quror is over on this side, so he's going to move in to make sure that that doesn't happen. And now Quror has secured the tower, and Quror is laying down these little mines. Looks like Vermillion may suspect that they're out there. It looks like he's going for a flank right here. Oh, he hits the first one, but he doesn't hit the other ones. So maybe he'll believe he is safe. Are any more mines being put down? Yes, they are. All those prowlers go into work, making sure that this is a complete minefield to make sure that he has as big of an advantage as possible. Now, we see some Krakens out here. Now, that's a big thing right here. Krakens are about as high up on the tech tree as you can go for Zyad. So, they can shoot. They do a pretty good chunk of damage. Oh, no, there goes that neutralization right here. Oh, did we see some bowling balls? We're seeing the bowling balls, and they are doing massive damage. They've just completely destroyed the army of Quror right here. He's retreating back into these, but because the Farian is there, he can see where these bombs are and not walk over them. So he can actually destroy them without ever taking damage from them. Because remember, they don't have a radius. You have to step on it. So if you attack it and don't step on it, no damage will be taken. Now, it does not look good for Quror right here because his army has been destroyed. We got an army of 46 against an army of 122 with 2-1 upgrade, and the air units have an upgrade as well. The Krakens don't have their bomb upgrade either, and it doesn't look like Vermillion will really even need it. He only needs the Krakens to make sure that big damage is coming down to whatever units try to engage. And all these little bombs are just a mute point right now. So are the rocks, apparently. The Kraken's doing huge damage against those rocks. And more are coming out from the side of Vermillion right now. We see some spitters are on patrol right here. But to be honest, it would probably be best just to hold command of them right there, in my opinion. What are they doing? Not a lot. Alright, so he sees that there's still not a third base for Quror right here. These air units can go walking straight in and just destroy everything. There goes the spitters. He's making sure that his army has as good of an engagement as they can get using these Krakens right here. One of them walks over these bombs right here. The spitters are trying to do some good work, but they're just being deleted by all these Krakens. And more Krakens are joining the fray. With this amount of Krakens, it does not look good for Quror at all. And I do believe this is going to be an all-she-wrote with this amount of Krakens in the air. We're seeing one Kraken being focused down. It does go down, but, you know, you still got, like, 6, 7 more to go. The second one almost goes down, but not quite, and it just gets into the safety zone, and, you know, it's just shooting at them. Quror calls GG, and Vermillion is the winner of the second match, leaving both players with 1 victory and 1 match to go. Alright, and now we are on to the third match of the series. We see the GLHFs. Vermillion even has a space in his. And we're on the Purity and Industry LE map. Now, this is one of my favorites because of that island base I just scrolled over right there. So I'm curious if either player is going to try and take it right now. I imagine that Vermillion is going to want to go for another Kraken build right here. Or a Raptor build even, just because it's so easy to get an aerial engagement on this map. Because you're so close by air. So I'm curious to see if Quror is going to build a lot of bile pits. Or if Quror himself is going to go for an avian nest. And we'll see a lot of air battles right here. Now, it's insane how in sync these Zyad dens are between the two players. Like, it's crazy. Now I wonder if Vermillion is gonna pool his buildings together again or not. Like maybe the mechanic only allows like I don't know, like 3 feeding pools for every one of these things, and it's a mute point to try and build so many together. But I don't think so, because I've seen plenty of players do it that way. My voice also cracked. That's how you know it's legit. Oh man, scouting straight away Vermillion. Oh, but we also... Did they give each other a high five? Because I want to see all the high fives. Oh no, he's being chased away. Oh, he's denying the second base. And Vermillion already has his second base in production right here. Also doing his usual overproduction of workers and then transferring all of them to gas at once maneuver. Feeding pool's coming in. This Zyadling is going to destroy the scavenger Quror right here. And so he's just decided to take the low ground base. And this feeding pool isn't even finished by Vermillion. Oh, he's going back. But here's the thing. Now that he's able to be attacked by these scavengers because he left. If he stayed in the middle of this, he couldn't be attacked by these scavengers here. We see one Zyadling chasing it down. And overall, that's all we see. Excuse me. I don't know what's happening right now today. That second base for Vermillion's coming up right here, and that denial may or may not be really big because he may have denied the natural, but like the low ground base right here is still taken by Quror, so it isn't too bad right now. It also looks like Quror might be trying to just rush again. We see the mutagen chamber is coming up right here for Vermillion, and so now Vermillion has more options, and so we're going to see very soon here if he's going to go with an avian nest or if he's going to go with a biomass right now. It's going to be very soon here. Alright, that transition will be whenever Vermillion is ready at this point. We see a bile pit coming down right here, so Quror is making sure that his new base is being secured. And I don't think he's going to expand into this middle expansion right here for a while. Is this another bio? This isn't. I don't know if I'd build a mutagen chamber right there. We got to. That's an aerial highway right there. But I don't know. Maybe it's to try and block the drops. But we'll see what happens. All right. So we see that the gases have come up. We see a little bit of oversaturation on the first base. Not too bad. We just need to pull one boy over. Just one. Alright, so we also see that the Zelnaga Tower has once been taken by Vermillion, so Vermillion will be able to see, you know, I don't know, aerial drops that are maybe super duper direct and super duper slow, but let's be honest, the best way to go is around the island, in my opinion. Alright, boom, he's gone. There goes the tower. But he knows that he's coming, and all these Zyadlings are just itching to go. Now, do we see a transition? There is not a transition quite yet. The evolution pit is coming out. Oh yeah, the avian nest has been built right under our noses right here. Here are the raptors. Vermillion is once again taking to the skies, and this evolution pit is the upgrades for the 1/1s of the air units for Zyad. So he's ready to go. What about our good friend right here? It looks like Quror just wants to build a ton of Zyadlings and Scorpolisks to make sure his opponent can't get very far. And we see that Vermillion's going straight for a Sunken Warren. So before we know it, we're going to be seeing Krakens again if Vermillion really wants to push it this early. Now, I imagine it would be best to get a third base with saturated gases, at the very least, to do that, though. We see him coming up. Is there a high five? There is no high five. They completely miss each other. The Roamer probably going to be doing some scouting later on. And once again, Vermillion's going for that Zelnaga Tower. Well, you know, as soon as he touches it anyway. Scorpolisks are hanging around right here. We see some more feeding pools coming up for some static healing. Maybe another bile pit. Who knows? Alright, so we see the Canalisk Den is coming up. So definitely a lot of Zyadlings. And he's trying to get them upgrades so that way they can fight off any Krakens who are big armored bites. Although, we see a lot of raptors hanging around right now. And this amount of raptors is definitely something to be dealt with, especially when the second avian nest is done. And is that a third one? That's a third one. Vermillion is going completely air unit in this game. After all, it did work pretty well for Vermillion in the last game. Whereas Quror is deciding to counter this with a massive amount of small squishy units, similar to what you would see from Terran, with a bunch of Marines. Now, is this a good call? I don't know. I don't know who's gonna win this one. Oh man, what's going on? Just a noob. Just that little guy right there, just doing the works. Did we see any scans going down? I don't know if we did. Did you all army hotkey? Because this Roamer definitely could have provided some needed information about these raptors right here. You're going to want to know about that before they come running over here. Even though you have 3 bile pits, I don't think 3 bile pits will be able to take out this amount of raptors before it's too late. How many raptors? We got 12 raptors. That's a lot of raptors. And 6 more are coming. With 18 raptors, 3 bile pits is not going to be enough. That's a critical mass right there. Like, they don't... Oh, a bowling ball! No, that's a good hit right there, but you need another one. We're going to have to go see ourselves. Oh, man. These raptors are really doing a number. This Canalus is running for his life. I don't think he's going to be able to get himself... what is it called when you get it? When you get it in 2 hits in bowling? We have like strikes and the other one, I forgot. I think it's well known at this point that my brain does not remember anything but say a lot of words when I'm casting, so we're seeing a lot of these guys going down because they are squishy squishers, but they're still getting a lot done. What's the current count right here? 21 to 22 with 3 workers killed, so it's still pretty even as far as losses are concerned. Trying to get rid of that Canalus den again. Aerial highway. It's going down. That's going down, and the upgrade is lost. And then the mutagen chamber's going down too. You lose tech when you lose that. And there it goes. Boom, there it is. It's gone. So now Quror has lost tech. He can't build any more biomass hatcheries until he rebuilds the Canalus den at the very least. Let alone the mutagen chamber. He needs that too. Alright, so we see the raptors. They're coming around. There's just so many. And then there's assailants coming out as well. Quror has lost control of this match right here, right now. He's starting to float minerals. I don't know if he knows what to do. He's building his own avian nest, but I think it's too late for that. Because his opponent has 3 of them. So he's able to produce way more than Quror would be able to produce with just 1 of those. And he would still have to get the tech in order to get a Kraken and deal with them, as they are way tankier than a Raptor is. And Vermillion is all set. Vermillion can just do it whenever. In fact, Vermillion's even getting the Kraken bomb upgrade right now. So this isn't looking very good. What are our upgrades right now? Currently 1 for air, and we have whatever this one is, which is the Raptor one, and I do believe that gives them bonus against light units, possibly armored. It's one of the 2. So these are pretty darn good Raptors right here, and we also see the damage upgrade from our good friends, the Zyadlings as well. It's not really gonna help much when these guys are, you know, light. Well, I mean, it does range. It's either the range upgrade or the damage upgrade. I don't remember which is which. I just remember that they both exist. I'm going to assume that the face is range because it has eyeballs in it, and the other one has claws in it, and claws means damage. We also see bile pits coming out. Where are they going? Where are they going down? Oh man, they're going right down at the 4th. He's got, this is 5 base versus 2 base, and his idlings are like, hey, there's no 4th base. Let's go attack the 3rd base. Even though it's the natural, because he blocked it. Here come the Raptors. They're going in for more damage. We see a ton of Mendlings to try and deal with the DPS of those Raptors. And, you know, we're seeing some good damage right here, but you really need that Reviler upgrade to be done as soon as possible. And he is working on it, but I don't know if it's going to be enough in time. We see a lot of feeding pools coming down to try and save this here bile pit. There goes one. These Raptors, there's just so many of them. And then he's also building a bunch of Krakens and Assailants behind this. So as soon as Vermillion loses all of these Raptors, he can engage with a far more powerful force. And these Raptors are just constantly keeping Vermillion from, or Quror, my bad, from mining at full efficiency. Or even keeping units for that matter. So these Raptors are doing absolutely phenomenal work for the macro game behind this for Vermillion. So once all these guys are gone, I'm sure that we're going to see the Krakens come in, lay down some bombs, and that would be the end. But maybe the Revilers will get their upgrade is already done, so now they are far more threatening than they were beforehand. We also see that the Xylings are just making sure that the 4th base never happens for Quror right now. And Quror is also floating 2,000 minerals. And he's trying to put down as much as he can into the Xylings, because that's pretty much his best option with so little gas income. Like, he's got the best army he could hope for right now with Revilers and Xylings. He desperately needs to get more gas, though. Maybe even some more minerals with another base, but he's also getting the Xyling damage upgrade against armored units, which will help. Oh man, the Raptors have gone in for another engagement, but now they have been sandwiched. So there isn't very many of them left, but again, like I said, there's just more and more Krakens coming out, and they are, once this army strikes, it's gonna be game. Raptors are being chased off again. I can only wonder what Quror is thinking right now, because like this harass from Vermillion is pretty genius. Because he got 18 Raptors, they could delete the biggest parts of the army as soon as they came out. And then as they whittle down, they are still able to do some harass by a lot of wiggles. And by doing all those wiggles, he's able to make sure that his opponent is thoroughly distracted or just losing working time. And with all that, he's really able to secure himself the macro. And look at this. Vermillion's so confident. He's going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 base against 3 base. He's going to have double the bases, and he isn't even mining out of 2 of them. Okay, he's gonna get gas. He wants gas, and only gas, probably for the Krakens. And here are the Krakens. We're gonna see a big engagement right here. So we see some of those assailants are going down. The Krakens, have they laid down their bombs? No, they have not. Oh, there they are. There's the bombs. He's trying to get a little bit away. Quror has evaded the bombs, and so the bombs will not really do anything except for blow up Vermillion's Krakens. Oh man, that is not some good micro right there. And Vermillion says, whoops, right there. Now, we also see that the Mendlings have turned into a cocoon of healing radius as well to make sure that this army stays as healthy as possible. And now, with that one explosion, Quror has actually gotten in a far better position. But is he able to take it on? Because the Raptors are back at home roasting the workers. I mean, look at the worker kills right here. We got 34 to 21. So actually that's still not in the favor of Quror right here. Is he able to do enough damage? Because we still see a bunch of these assailants are coming up. Is it enough? That is the big question right now for Vermillion. Is it enough? And keep in mind, Vermillion still has the economical lead right here. Because Vermillion is, even though he's lost his natural base, it's mostly mined out. And he's still got, you know, another 4 bases. 5 if you count the main. So it's like, now this is really interesting. That one thing completely turned the game around, because you can't rebuild these Krakens fast enough. So he's gonna have to transition again. He's getting his 3rd air upgrade right here. He's putting down some bombs because I'm pretty sure that these Krakens are not gonna survive. He's gonna blow up his own bile pit though. Bye-bye. It's gone. These Revilers are really doing good works for Quror right here. I'm like, I think Vermillion may have thrown the game right there. I don't know if he's gonna be able to come back from this, because he does not have adequate defenses on these other bases. In fact, they're hardly even saturated. But then again, he still does have the economical... No, he doesn't. Vermillion has lost his economical lead with pulling these workers back to the main base. So right now, Quror is as far as minerals are concerned, has an economical lead. But Quror smells something. He smells fishy business. And he's going in. These bile pits are not going to last very long against this army, especially when these Revilers are all getting fueled up by constant attacks. So the Mendlings are coming in, and we're seeing that the assailants are coming down to take out the reinforcements, but that base is gone. It's a good thing that Vermillion made so many bases behind this, or he'd be in a much worse position. But Vermillion calls GG, and Quror comes out on top. Now that was an interesting game. It's too bad that Vermillion threw it with accidentally exploding his own crackers right there. But Quror was able to make a pretty good assessment of how he could take advantage of that. And that's how he ended up pulling it off anyway, even though he was behind bases the whole game. So just a little bit of micro can make all the difference. I hope you guys enjoyed this tournament episode, and I will see you guys in another one. I think we will see another Vermillion cast after this. See you guys next time.